I didn't.
7 silver swans swam silently. What did Cindy Brady say?
I don't know. Is that what that was?
7 silver swans. Remember she like lisped or something?
She did lisp.
What about I slit the sheet I slit? And
Can't do that one.
I said, I can.
She said,
I'm proud of that.
What is it? Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
Sally sells seashells.
Do you know because I had a retainer when I was younger, I had a speech issue. And I in like first and second grade, I'd have to go to speech classes. And they gave me these little books to read.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, they did a good job.
You know
who does that now?
Your daughter.
Victoria.
I know.
She loves it.
See that?
She showed us a video of her doing like speech with a little boy who can't speak.
And that's awesome.
And she was going, oh, and he like said a word. I almost cried.
Of course.
It was like, she's like, that's why I do it. Dad.
That is awesome. That is a meaningful job. Okay, you ready?
She likes kids, hates people, but
she likes dogs,
yeah.
Right?
No, I know. She likes innocence. She likes like animals are innocent and kids are innocent, and then people get.
She doesn't like evil.
To be assholes.
She doesn't like evil.
True.
This is the Mack and G Show.
Welcome to episode 28 of the Mack and G Show. It feels like forever since it's been just you and I.
Yep.
And there's something comforting about it just being you and I. Not that we don't like our guests.
I like Jimmy.
We love our guests.
No, I'm just kidding.
But every now and again, I think we got to come back.
Yeah.
Come back to the two of us.
Right. We started this. It was like, it's just going to be us.
That's
we'll talk
it.
about some funny shit.
No camera, no video.
Yeah. And then we got all this. Not that you can see this.
Keep it under 30 minutes, we said.
Yeah. An hour and a half later. Right.
So typically the catch up, which you would think we would have a ton of catch up, but
we do have a ton of catch up, but
we won't go into that.
We got to get to the show. We have to bang it out.
We do have to bang it out tonight. A shout out to two very creative and funny women.
Yes.
On the other end of the globe in Australia.
Down under.
Yep. Down under. The Midlifers podcast.
Yeah.
Mez and Fonz.
They're cool. I like them.
They're very cool.
Yep.
I don't know how they popped up at some point, but they did. Very creative. A little younger than us, but still, they tap into nostalgia and things like that. So we connected. We've had some conversations. We're going to have a collaboration. Stay tuned. I think that's coming up in the near future.
Yeah.
The collaboration.
That's coming up probably within the next few weeks.
Couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's probably more their format, what we're talking about today, but we probably will also have them both on the show.
They're funnier than us.
They are.
It'll be
they
good.
are.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job of editing their stuff.
Yeah,
Yep. They do a really good job. So be on the lookout for that. Also, I think you have a little bit of an announcement.
I wouldn't say it's an announcement, but I'm just saying on our last show, we had Jimmy Maurer on, a good friend of the show, good loyal listener. And, I'm hoping he gets maybe a lead for one of his, one of his jobs. And he actually, I know he's booked up a lot. He's pretty successful. So, but I think Mack and G might have maybe,
there is a benefit for all of you prospective guests.
Yep.
There might be some benefit to being on the Mack and G Show.
Did you hear that, Dr. Reeves?
There you go.
Now you have to do it.
Here's the other thing. This is a message to all of our fans. Ricky and I said
all of our fans.
Ricky and I said that we were going to use that a little bit more. No, like and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe, right? If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, follow us there. Follow us on social media. We've delivered a message that says we're going to try to do some more short form content.
Yeah, Johnny's been putting some good stuff out. Keep an eye out for it.
We have.
No, we have.
Okay.
But you're the talent. I'm behind the camera.
That is not true at all.
It's 100%.
That is not true at all. So we're doing more of that. The other thing is a plug for, maybe we're not doing that yet. Are we not doing no, we're doing it at the end. Well, I'll just give a little bit of a tease. So
tease.
If, a couple shows ago, Matt Moramarco talked about the action hero bracket, and we actually thought we filmed the whole thing last weekend. But when I tell you how seriously he's taking this, like the 32 combatants, right?
That's what. Remember when we talked about AI and things that you really...
Yeah.
But
he's leveraging AI.
No, he uses a little bit, but I think he takes that personally. Like, I think he's really...
Well, I don't know. So he missed he missed Rambo. Or we missed Rambo.
AI missed Rambo.
Okay. But so we're throwing it all in the hopper.
But he's into it. That's cool.
Yeah, we're throwing it all in the hopper, and we're going to record tomorrow night. We got it all queued up. It's going to take a little bit of editing, but be on the lookout for that. That's, if it plays out the way we think it's going to play out, that could be like nine different shorts.
So look out for that, and then look for it, and maybe get some feedback on that.
Exactly. If you agree with whatever the matchup is, or if you don't, like, speak up, right? And then last but not least, support us we set up a Patreon site, and by all means, if you love or like the show and you want to support us,
it's going great. So we just hope it keeps like growing the way it is.
Okay, so we haven't even gotten into what today's show is. Today's show, we're tapping into the nostalgia thing again.
Yep.
And what are we doing, Ricky?
We're doing things that we don't do anymore. So I don't know what the headline is there, what you have there, but
it says things we don't do anymore.
Oh, there we go. Oh, there's the headline. Was that up 2 seconds ago?
No, I turned it right before you said that. Like right, you could have seen that.
Yeah. So no, it's things that we've done for years and we grew up with, and we just don't do them anymore.
You don't do them anymore, and it was. And when some of these things you look at it and you're like, oh my God, that's all we did.
Right.
And now we don't do it anymore.
Right.
Right. And then a little teaser. This is why you need to stick around to the end. Is at the very end, we make some predictions on what our children will say they don't do anymore when they reach our age. Right. So what is the next, in the next 30 years?
Things we don't need.
Yeah.
It's because we really don't need some of these things anymore.
I would say 95% of the time it's what we don't need. But sometimes, we're going to cover a little bit, maybe some ones that we miss. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So hopefully a little bit funny, a little bit reflective. Hopefully it's relatable for those of you that are around our age, right? Yep. If you're an old soul, even if you're young and an old soul, you might appreciate some of this stuff. But as Ricky mentioned before, share your, if we missed one that you think was huge, share that with us.
Yeah, throw it out there.
Share it with Mack.
I'm sure we missed something.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. So the first category of, I would say, things that we don't do anymore, old school communication.
Right.
The phone.
So payphones.
Well, payphone.
Do they even have like payphone booths anymore? Are they out there?
I feel like recently I saw one. But
I mean, in England, that's a thing. The red ones. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they might be there. I just don't know if anyone uses them.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, everybody seems to have a...
And does it take change, or is it now just like a credit card?
You're probably swiping.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was a kid, young, it was actually a dime to make
for a long time
in a payphone call. She used to give me a dime or a quarter.
Who's she?
My mom.
Okay.
Put this in your shoe and don't lend it or spend it. So again, now that's not going to get you much. But when we were kids, did
you follow those rules?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I left it in my shoe.
Okay.
And my mother had a lot of sayings like that. I'm going to write a book someday. And she's pretty right on to it with most of her sayings.
Don't lend it, don't spend it.
Don't lend it or spend it. So
I'm trying to think how often I would use a payphone though.
I would use it to have her pick me up.
Oh, you would?
Yeah, when we were we're younger, before we drove. Sometimes
there are no payphones in Boxford. So
I grew up in the city.
Right.
So if we were in another town or wherever, would call, pick me up here, and would
Yep.
That's how I would get home.
But yeah, there's no concept.
We had no
now.
cell phones. We had nothing.
No. We when cell phone 90s, that's when we started those giant ones that look like.
I remember in the 90s, I had a cell phone.
It
looked like a briefcase.
Yeah.
And I had a boat, and we used to carry a boat. They're like, what the hell is that?
You felt like you were in World War II.
Actually, they had car phones too. Remember
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, my parents had one, and it was like
Nokia.
Yeah, but it was it had one. It was. Yeah,
it was like
beefy.
Thick. It was very
beefy
and stuff.
Yeah, so those are gone.
We'll share.
We don't even have car phones on there because nobody. That's
true. You got CarPlay, which to me doesn't work as much as it should.
The problem is you plug it in, so you can use it with your cord or Bluetooth, and then it gets all screwed up.
I also think it's because it's incompatibility between the next version of iOS and then your car. So I was going
to say that too.
In my truck, I would say 90% of the time it works.
Yeah.
But the 10% it doesn't is when I absolutely need to make a call.
I like when I'm in my car and my daughter gets in and she wants to listen to her music.
And she takes it over.
Well, she tries. She's
You don't let her do it?
Well, no, it's like if the car's driving, you can't like change it over.
Oh, okay.
So she freaks out. Can you stop? No, I don't want to stop. I'm driving
Right,
to a friend's house.
right.
Leave me alone.
Right.
You know?
You should own the car and whatever's going to play on it.
But she wants to hear her music from the second she gets into her car.
Well, I mean, so the choice is, does she put her like headphones, whatever, like little earbuds in, and then you never get to talk with her? Or
No, we're together. We're on there.
Okay.
One day we picked up her friend, and from her friend's house, who lives near me, her other friend who lives down here, she couldn't get it. I was like, why don't you just put your phone on with the volume?
The whole entire time?
I'll lower it, and we'll just listen to it that way.
And did you ever figure it out?
She did, yeah.
Okay.
I had to stop.
Okay. So that was payphones, but then landlines, right? Like a family had a phone.
Right.
The family had a phone number, right? Do you remember your family phone? Okay.
781.
Yeah.
289.
Yeah.
4017.
The area code changed over the years, right? So it was 508 to start. 508-887-8736.
We were 617 and changed.
Right. Maybe it was 617 first, but then it was 508 and then it was 978. Right, because that's what we are, right?
Yep.
978, and I think my mom still had that number before she passed.
Like that's another thing that's lost. So I remember my friend Joe Vish, 781-289-2403, Billy Donati's 6771, Richie Henry's 616. No, Mikey Bruno 6168. I'm just saying. Now our kids don't remember phone numbers.
Yeah, but I don't remember my kids' phone numbers either.
I don't know. Well, we don't know them because we don't call them.
We just press the button.
Press the button.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. That's something that's lost as well. That's probably not.
I feel like that form of memory is gone too.
Right.
Like you don't tap into that part of your brain anymore.
Right. Did you see Wally?
Yeah.
That's our future.
Oh,
we're just going to be really chubby, sitting on a bench, like everything's going to be done for you. Yeah.
I hope not. So, busy signals.
Right. There's still that a little bit.
Not on a cell phone.
No, but like if I call like an office or something, sometimes I get it, but it's not. Yeah,
and the phone was corded to the wall, right?
Yeah.
So like depending, like I remember, like the big thing is when you finally got a long cord
in your kitchen, you get a long cord. So
yeah, because you wanted to
walk
get
around with it and go in the other room.
Answering machines.
Yeah,
remember that was fun to do the messages.
Yep.
Like you could have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That was.
I had it for work. We had someone come in and they produce it and then they put it in. It's it's like music and stuff.
That wasn't too long ago that you did that.
Yeah, maybe 15.
No, when I first started, remember I would always call
15 years ago. Yeah,
it was no. I felt like that was for like 5 years, but
yeah, but they have that now. They have people that'll do that on your cell. Your
right.
Right. But that part of it's gone. Like
gone.
Like beep.
None of that.
You have 9 messages beeping on the phone.
None of that.
Yep.
Fax machines.
We still use it a little bit at work.
You do.
For prescriptions.
I guess like the printer has it, but we don't have a landline, so we can't do it.
We still have a landline in my house because we don't have cable anymore. We cut the cord.
Yep.
But we have a modem and a landline because we have an alarm in our.
So you have to have that.
Yeah. So, but it's like $90-something
for everything.
But the phone rings, we don't answer it.
Okay.
Because nobody knows our number.
I gotcha. This was, you put 2 things together or 3 things together. Do you want to?
With the Walkman?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Joe Vish. Hey, Joe. The Walkman.
Oh, his suggestion was the Walkman.
Yeah. Well, no, he had a Walkman. He used to.
But you didn't?
Yeah. But Joe was, it's just, he'll know. It's a little inside thing. But he always had the Walkman. He used to hide things in it when we would travel.
Okay.
But Joe's really into music. So,
okay.
I mean, he was like,
Yeah.
But I showed him a list today. I was like, you have any insight on this? And he's like, what about the Walkman? I was like, yeah, nobody has a Walkman anymore. And they have headphones. I mean,
and then the Walkman became a Discman.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I am going to share. So Gary Gulman, have I ever told you about him as a comedian?
Yes.
So he's around our age, from Peabody, very close to us. He has a bit on the Walkman that is brilliant.
Okay.
It is. I'm not even going to try to tease it at all. Just look in the show notes. I'm going to share it.
Okay.
It is gold.
I'm going to watch that tonight.
It is gold. Well, I'll give it to you before we edit it.
Okay.
Okay. Pen pals and letter writing.
Yeah.
You had it would have to be through the school though, right?
No, I mean, so when I was a kid, we used to play hockey.
Okay.
And we used to go to Canada. So we had like we would I'd go to Montreal and stay with a family, and then they'd come here and they'd stay with us. So we'd write back and forth.
French Canadian?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny because I know when you grow up, and I know for the most part that Montreal fans hated Bruins fans and vice versa.
Yeah.
So
I don't think French Canadians ever liked us.
But how does that work?
It was okay there.
Okay.
But whatever. It was fun. They were very nice. Like the families were all cool. I wouldn't let my kid go to, like, we used to just get off the bus and just go to some stranger's house for like 4 days.
But were they French Canadian?
Oh, freaking Canadians. How the hell do I know? Yeah, they spoke French.
But they spoke English for you.
Barely.
Wow.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was. There was.
Were you there for a week or a weekend?
His name was Serge. He didn't speak good English.
Wow.
No. And we were
You
there.
think Serge is alive?
Could be.
You think there's any way you could find Serge?
No, because I forget his last name.
You don't think you could go back to something? Wouldn't that be awesome if somehow you reunited with Serge?
I mean, I could. Yeah, my friend Tommy does. I still think he's
that is
friends
really cool
with one of his.
So I have to tell you my disastrous story about pen pals.
Okay.
To the point where I never wanted to do it.
How could that be?
I'll tell you why.
What could happen?
In, I think, 5th grade here in little town of Boxford. Interestingly enough, it was Canada too. So we all got pen pals in Canada, like in and around Canada.
Okay.
And my pen pal was, I still remember to this day, was out of Prince Edward Island.
Okay.
So they're like, this is your pen pal. This is, I think it was like, if you were a boy, it was a boy, and girl was a girl. Here's your pen pal.
Is that Nova Scotia?
No. No. Prince Edward Island is, I think, near Nova Scotia.
It's up.
It's close to that. It's on the East Coast,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
PEI, Prince Edward Island.
You got it.
So I'm like, oh my God, like I'm going to have a friend up in Canada. So I like wrote this letter, this is me. This is what I do. I sent it off. Nothing.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm like,
well, where did they get these people from?
I don't know. It was the school ran it.
It had to be from the school to another school, so everyone.
All my friends, they're like, "Oh my God, I got my thing back from so and so." And I'm like, "I didn't get it." I go, "Let me send another letter." Right. So I'm like,
great.
"Hey, look at it." The dude never sent me a message.
They should have given you another student.
Right.
Right. They didn't do that for you.
This was late 70s. They didn't give a shit, right? Like, sorry,
poor Johnny.
Sorry, John.
Hey, how's your pen pal? I don't have.
I gotta tell you, like
that
for
would work
a
today.
while, I never wanted to even like write to any. Like, I didn't want to, because waste of my time.
So was it like a school? Was it run through the school?
Yes, like everyone in the class had someone in
So
Canada.
your teacher dropped the ball. You should have gotten another student.
I could.
If that were today, everybody gets a trophy.
Oh, yeah.
You would have
Or
to.
the teacher could have just like faked it and like had
If that were
someone.
today, right? You would have to go to see the school psychiatrist.
Well, you wouldn't
Johnny
even
to get a pen
I
pal.
know. Well, everything would be done online, right? Like instantaneous, right? You could like text them real time. But yeah, never got the letter back from Prince Edward Island.
That sucked.
Motherfucker.
I was gonna say, what was it like? Some 50-year-old guy.
I don't know. I hope it wasn't that. And if it was, then I'm glad he didn't write back.
I know.
But yeah, just never ever wrote back.
Yeah, that
like
sucks.
sitting there. Oh, I just thought of something that we didn't even put on there.
What?
Remember the Scholastic Book Club?
Yeah,
Do they
I love
still
that.
do that?
I'm not sure. I used to love that. When the books came, and then you had like 5 books, and you got them in there.
So this is funny because Gary Gulman has a funny thing there too. He goes, it would be like the beginning of the school year, and you'd write down all this stuff, and then like a day before you went home for summer vacation, you finally got the books back.
Oh yeah, no, I love when those came.
But it took a while, right?
My favorite book, Guinness Book of World Records. I used to love that.
You used to get that one?
Yeah, that was awesome. I used to look forward to it all the time.
That was really cool.
Remember you got the list, and you like check off what you want, and you get a bunch.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You still get a little bit of that when you order a book on Amazon. Don't you get that little feeling, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I just ordered a book. Someone that I work with recommended it, and I just came back from a trip to Atlanta, but the book was waiting for me, I had that same little feeling, like I got the book.
You know what I got?
What?
I told you a couple weeks ago.
What?
That salt, fat, acid, heat.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember? Was it you that told me about it? I thought it was you. Oh, maybe it wasn't you.
No,
I thought you had it. You told me about it. You went through your cooking phase. You had it. Trust me.
Or I talked about it, maybe.
Yeah, I think you told me about it. But I got it. I got to read it.
And it's like very like not high level, but like fundamental. This is cooking, right?
It's not just like recipes. It's
maybe Abby told you that. I think Abby might have been into that.
I sent it to you when I got it to show you, and you were like, "Oh, okay." Unless you were just like, "Okay, I don't know what this kid's talking about."
No. I do.
I
do remember that book.
Yeah,
I do.
My friend at work read it, and he's like, "I was like, yeah, my friend Johnny told me about it, so I got it."
Because when you see cooking shows, right, and you see the people like deciding what they're going to make, like they don't know the recipe. They just know fundamentally what works.
Right. But my friend was telling me that sometimes you just like, if you just add a little bit of acid to something, it makes the whole dish. Like it's not complete. So I don't know, whatever. We're going down
let's see how good it works. Okay. Shifting now to analog life and travel. Okay.
Yep.
First thing that comes up is physical maps, like driving, right? Like directional AAA maps. You remember that?
TripTiks.
Right. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I didn't use too many, but yeah.
And then like they would have like the little number in between each location. That's how many miles you had to drive.
The Atlas book. Remember the big books we used to have at work?
Yeah. No, but I'm saying like the driving maps, because you're looking on a map and you're like, how long is it going to take for me to get there? And remember they'd have like how many miles it was.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of do the math. Think how much easier it is now.
Well, you just put it in your phone.
That's it.
I know. It's great.
Or like on your whatever GPS in your car.
Do people? I guarantee you, there's someone out there that's still using a map. Somewhere like Middle America.
You think there's places where you don't get if you don't get reception?
Like, what if you don't? Like, what if there's bad reception in the mountains somewhere?
I think you get lost and you die.
They have sat phones. You get a sat phone if you're going out that way.
Yeah, we're gonna a little bit later. I'm going to talk about what you miss and what you don't miss. I don't think I miss that.
The map?
Yeah.
No, I don't care about the map.
Right. I mean, there's something nostalgic about it. Don't get me wrong.
I like when you just put it right in the windshield so you can't see.
Yeah, and wasn't there like there was a good opportunity for advertising around the edge of the map?
The whole map.
Yeah,
go right around.
Yeah, where you got it. And then a lot of times your co-pilot would be the one that was kind of looking through it.
So you're yelling at them.
You could be.
The turn.
You could be. You could be. Exactly.
Right. Okay. Roll them up.
Paper airline tickets. I feel like there still are.
Do you remember that?
What? Roll them up?
Yeah.
What's that from?
Vacation, family vacation.
Yeah, but when is that?
They took the wrong turn. They ended up in Detroit. You're a gunshot. Roll them up because they took the wrong turn. Sorry.
The original vacation.
Yeah.
When Grandma's on the roof.
Yeah. Okay. She wasn't. I don't think she was on the roof yet. They stole the tires. It was good.
It was really good. Paper airline tickets. I mean, I'll still do that occasionally.
I think they're on our phone now, right?
They are, but every now and again, it's just easier to. And then what if your phone loses its juice? Then you can't do it.
I would say that sometimes people don't charge their phone.
Traveler's checks.
Yeah. I used to have those when I
Let me ask you something. When it's traveler's check, would you spell it CHEQUE?
I go QUE.
You would?
Yeah, like American Express.
Traveler's checks. Yeah. So what was the deal with that? It was because you didn't want to get screwed with the exchange rate when you went somewhere? Like, is that what a traveler's check was?
I think it protects your money. So when I was in high school, we went to Florida, like Daytona or whatever, and like someone robbed our room, right? Like they were robbing the rooms.
And if they steal the traveler's checks, you can like
if you have the numbers,
you can cancel.
You give them the numbers and you get the money back. So it works.
They don't exist though, right? There's no.
They did then, and it works for me.
Credit cards now, you can just.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, whatever it was, I just remember that, and it worked. Like you're supposed to keep your numbers separately from the checks.
Where would you get them? Was it
American Express, the bank?
Oh, that's right.
You know,
I went to the last.
So that was that was the '80s. That was the mid '80s that I used those. So I don't know how long.
I'm wondering if, like, when my wife and I went on our honeymoon, do you think that would have been in play? Or no, 94.
We just did it because like if you lost something or something got stolen.
Yeah, there was a reason for it. That's why they existed. Phone books.
Yeah, I sit on a phone book, so I still have one right here, so you can see. But no, nobody is.
Remember how much paper was wasted?
The yellow pages was
because of a phone book.
Did you ever see it now? It's this thin.
Oh, I don't even. They have them.
Yeah, they used to charge businesses to.
Put your
company in there, you know,
phone books.
But yeah, they're again.
Jeez. Now you and I don't know if we say disagree. Calendars.
Well, again, so this
kids,
list,
you don't think kids have calendars?
So let me say this. So this list, these things, like our generation probably still uses some of these things, but the generation below, like, I mean, we have the calendar right on our phone. I put everything into that with alerts. So I know what I'm doing. I don't really need a calendar. Like, we do have one at work if someone's taking a day off. So it's like displayed. Yeah. So I can't say we don't use it at all. But
I just feel like, so I told you, like around Christmas time when they have like the pop-up things in the mall, they have one that has all calendars. So it's like a good stocking stuffer.
Yeah.
So I think like if you were
you like the fireman one?
No, no, I don't. I like the puppy dog ones. No, so I think if you're like a young couple and you get married and you're like, let's say you get your first apartment together or first house together, you might want to put a like nice calendar on the wall in the kitchen. I don't know. I'm telling you, I think it's
That's what they're thinking. Yeah, can we get a calendar?
I think it happens. I think it happens. It's a way to be creative. Like, think of all the different types of calendars you can get, right? So it can be your thing. Like, you could get a Bruins one.
Oh, it's okay.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I don't agree.
I think that can happen.
Okay. Like I said before, I think calendars, the generation up, calendars, not a generation below.
Yep.
But I'm not always right. Just a lot of the time, but not always.
A lot of
I'm just kidding.
A majority of the time.
I'm just kidding. So calendars, generation up, yes. I say generation no. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion.
If you are under 40 years old and are listening to this right now, let us know if you would ever have the urge to get a calendar. What?
Do the crickets. If you're under 40, if you're under 40 and listen to the show, okay, there we go. Let us know.
You know what's something sad?
What?
If you're over 40 and listening to the show,
let us know. Basically, Gary, let us know if you use
Liz,
yeah, Liz,
I know Liz likes calendars.
Yeah.
I know she likes calendars.
I know.
Typewriters. Remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
You would take a class. You had like a class in school.
In school, we had a typing class.
My goodness,
that was that was in the 80s too. But it was, oh my god, it was a torture.
And then you'd have to type your stuff, and then there was like the correction one.
I skipped that day.
No, but the correction, like you had to. There was like a whiteout thing that you could. Well, you had whiteout that you could do.
Yeah.
But then couldn't you also correct with the key? So if you accidentally typed a K,
I don't remember.
You could do like a correction K, and it would type white ink over the K.
Listen to me, I tell you, I didn't pay attention in that class. We had it.
Yeah.
It was like we had cooking.
But did you have to type? Didn't you have to type your letter, like your assignments?
I don't want to sound like one of those people, but I had when I was that age. Sometimes your girlfriend did stuff like that, like like for you.
You never typed something?
No.
Ever?
I never typed anything. My mother would type for me.
You know what? You were Nostradamus. You realize you didn't have to.
No, I didn't do it. It was. No.
All right, that's fine.
But
I remember having a friggin' type.
No, I didn't type.
Yeah, Microfiche.
I was a good writer though. I wrote.
That's good. Microfiche.
Yeah, I remember that in college.
You go to the library.
Yep.
You gotta
you run it through.
Go through the stuff.
Yeah. That's gone, right?
I bet you could still. I bet it's still there.
Because
you think it's all digital?
My question is all that somewhere, right? Because you can look up a lot of stuff.
I remember when I started getting into the genealogy thing, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and it's the Mormons that have a lot of that. Like they're into that. I remember going.
Microfiche?
Yeah. Well, no, I remember going to a building in like Linfield.
Okay.
And I guess you call it microfiche. Like you'd have to look through the thing.
Right.
To find the information. That was like 7 years ago.
What I'm saying is, so now that we have everything somewhere, like in the cloud, information, you hit your ChatGPT and they'll find
if
stuff.
Someone has indexed it, yes.
So what I'm saying is if it's not indexed, maybe you can still get it that way.
You might have to.
Right.
I think they're trying to obviously the world is trying to digitize everything, but I bet it still does exist.
Okay, ready? Generation below microfiche?
Nothing.
Gone.
Probably not even. Yeah.
No.
I mean, we gave up on microfiche probably 15 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
floppy disks.
Floppy disks. Right?
Do you know what you would store on like a floppy disk?
Not
it was
not
like
much.
nothing.
I know.
Like I'm trying to think. Like, was it like 1 megabyte? Like, what were the floppy disks?
I don't remember, but we used them.
If you're like a techno geek
with
and
my
remember
Gateway computer,
that's right.
Remember the Gateway store?
It was
at the Burlington
Well,
Mall.
CompUSA, that was my store.
Okay. I'm just saying, my family were like Gateway, and we used to go to like Burlington. We'd just get this big ass Gateway.
I did love that though. I loved doing that.
That was another feeling, a good feeling.
Oh,
when you
yeah.
opened it up, and it was like,
Yeah.
"Ooh," the little cow.
I remember this. This is a shout out to Rich Holtz, one of my buddies from growing up.
I'm related to Holtz, maybe.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You're related to Holtz.
Yep.
Okay. We got to do the math then.
Okay, we'll do some math.
So Rich and I talked him into getting a modem, right? Like this is probably
like a legit modem, like a
and then I got something called crosstalk, which I guess you could say was the beginnings of maybe texting.
Okay.
But when I tell you the level of like technology for me to install it, for him to install it, run crosstalk, and when all is said and done, it would take you about a half hour just to send like a little message.
That was like there was no Windows then, right?
No.
So
it was whatever the interface was. And at the time, so hopefully this will get some of the, like, when I used to hang out with my buds, we would call each other Piggy. I don't know why, right?
Everybody's Piggy?
Piggy. You just be like, Piggy. What's up, Piggy? So the very first message that was sent, and I forget if it was me to Rich or Rich to me. He'll remember. He's got a very good memory. The first message was, Piggy, are you there? And that was it. And I think we used it for maybe like a couple weeks and then realized like it's easier to just
call
landline.
Why don't we just call up, hey, what's up, Piggy?
Exactly. Exactly. But it was just fun that it was technology, you know? All right. So that's floppy disk.
All right, let's go.
Media and entertainment, renting movies.
Be kind. And
rewind. Remember that.
Yep. They charge you,
Blockbuster.
right? If you didn't rewind, you get a little charge, a little fee.
Me? Yeah.
Like the next time.
Yeah. And
Right.
they had like machines there that would rewind
Did
or
they?
whatever. Yeah. But it was just a good feeling. I'm trying to think the last time I was married.
When you rented a movie?
Yep. We lived in Byfield.
Are we talking about, we're talking about
Blockbuster.
We're talking about VHS now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would have been, it was still in the late 90s.
Do you remember LaserDiscs?
I do. Never had it. My cousin had it.
Before VHS.
Yeah, the big thing like this.
They look like a pizza box.
Yeah.
They were that big.
I always say that, remember there was VHS and then
Betamax.
and Beta was supposedly better technology, but VHS marketed better. And that's why.
And Blu-ray was the same.
Blu-ray?
Like, Blu-ray was great, but it was just at the edge of, okay, we don't need that anymore.
Right.
Gone.
We can just do everything online.
That was it.
Yeah. But Blockbuster, man.
Yeah. That was huge.
That was giant.
There's some documentary about that on Netflix.
Isn't like the 30-year-old version? Was there a block like?
You mean 40?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
You skipped 10 years.
I was going way early. 40-year-old virgin. Was there a scene in there with like Blockbuster or something?
Maybe.
Right? How old was that movie?
That was probably the early 2000s.
Is there like a rental thing? I don't know.
I don't remember.
I wonder when did Blockbuster
No,
end?
they were in like a almost like a TV, like a Best Buy type store is what they were in, not a Blockbuster.
What was
their store in 40-Year-Old Virgin? It was more like a
right. No, I know that store. I don't know. Why did I think? Here's the other thing. We keep saying Blockbuster, but you had like little like mom and pop video stores, right?
Yep.
That was kind of neat too.
Yeah, we had one right around the corner from us. Yeah.
And the smell of the VHS tape, that was very nostalgic.
And then the adults films were behind the curtain.
I don't know. I never.
Well, they weren't at Blockbuster.
Did they sell them?
At the mom and pop place? Yeah. I mean, I didn't go in there.
Right.
But I was too young by the time they,
I don't even know why I did that. Makes no sense. Disposable cameras.
All right.
But more importantly,
not the Polaroids. You mean like the ones like?
Yeah. No. I mean, well, again,
they're just like.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about having to develop film.
Right.
Like imagine.
So Photomat. Yeah. My friend's mom did that. Like she used to work.
If you go to CVS now, do people still have that? Can you get?
I guess. Maybe.
You must.
I mean, they still do it at weddings sometimes, don't they? Like just put something there and people just take pictures and then they get it.
I guess like if you're like a really into photography now, is it all digital?
Your phone takes better pictures than any.
No, I know. So you think it's all digital? Remember, like back in the day, you had a dark room and you had to like do all that.
I had a dark room.
So I got into that.
You had a dark room?
No, I wanted to have one. Like I thought,
anybody just like open the door and F you up?
I got into photography for like a month, which was par for the course for me. So, like, I remember toting around a camera, and I was living in Boxford, so I was like taking, I thought it would be very creative to take pictures of headstones, like old headstones.
Okay.
And then I think I tried to.
Did Pitsy go with you?
No. Then I think I tried to develop it. I don't know, but it was cool. I like the idea of photography.
The dark room was like, like if you're watching a movie and they're in a dark room,
Yeah.
they're waiting to see.
And
like,
you can have a
who's
red
in the
light
day.
because it doesn't, yeah. That's kind of neat.
I didn't need a dark room though. It's good.
Yeah.
It was good in the movies.
Oh, but Photomat was like specifically you drove up to.
yeah, you
do
went
that.
there with all your stuff and you.
How about this concept? You've got a bunch of film and you completely forget what pictures you took.
Right.
So you would take it in to develop it
Yep.
and you didn't even know what was coming back.
Yeah,
That's
because you had
kinda-
a bunch of stuff. Yeah, that's
That's back when you had to wait for stuff. No one waits for anything anymore, do they?
Nope.
Everything's
except for
instantaneous.
we have to wait for like every week for Mobland to come out again or Last of Us.
I thought
Oh.
Mobland's up to like 8 or 9.
I think it's on 10. Yeah.
So they went more than 8. Remember, we thought 8 was like
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I'm not sure if it's done. Or if there's another.
CDs, tapes, record stores, but I know vinyl's still a big thing.
Yeah,
So
you
they're-
can still
right?
get vinyl players. My
And I
daughter
think
came
younger kids that are really into music are into that. So I wouldn't
Go
say it's,
try to find. They don't make them anymore.
I bet
So,
Newbury
like-
Comics still does. Sells them.
You think artists actually make vinyl?
Yeah.
See, I didn't think they did.
Hey, what is it? Just old stuff?
Everything's downloads. That's it.
I mean, that's a way to.
I think
that's a
you
way
can,
to
I think
control.
you could buy albums like at Newbury Comics that are old. I don't think there's.
But if
anything
you're a
new.
musician,
you think
that-
like Post Malone puts out vinyl.
But if you're a musician, that's probably the only way that you can make money on it now because it's a physical thing.
They make money on concerts and they get downloads. However,
Right.
many
Well,
downloads.
everyone gets music the other way. And I don't know. That's good. Let's look into that.
So I don't know if they make vinyl.
Wouldn't it
That's
have
a
been good if we
question.
researched this before?
Probably, yeah, that would have been a good idea. I would assume they don't make vinyl anymore, but like I said, my daughter was like a cool thing at like I don't know, they,
I think Dio loves vinyl.
yeah. I mean, listen, I have vinyl too, and I have a record player. Like it's a new version, and it just looks vintage, but it's like
All right.
My
Well,
daughter
you know what?
probably
We'll look into that. If
Fit-
there's any new vinyl,
you get your Zeppelin and your
Yeah.
Stones, and your Beatles.
well, there might be some funky artists that still want vinyl.
I used to have like singles. Remember the singles?
Yeah.
Remember the little thing?
And then-
that
no,
went-
then the
but how
B-side
about
of the
those things
single.
that went in the singles? They don't have those.
Oh
anymore.
yeah, because it had the 3 things.
Yeah, you just pop it in so you could put it on your big.
Yeah.
So those we didn't even think of that. That's
Yeah.
good. Those are gone.
Those are gone. And then before that was the big giant one, like like the old school ones that had the big. Ooh,
What?
the record player would have the big.
Yeah. I mean, we had record players at my house. We had a record player. It was as big as the wall. It was a stereo. Like,
Okay.
It was like it looked like a wall unit. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah,
And like
yeah.
the speakers were like as big as the mini fridge on either side, but it
That
was
was
like a
good
wall
stuff. Good stuff. Going to
Yeah.
the movies.
unit.
I still think people do that.
No, good luck. I love the movies. I think it's a romantic experience.
Let
I
me
think
ask you
it's-
this: Your 3
You met-
children. What's the last time they went to a movie?
So my oldest, her boyfriend loves Marvel, so they go to all the Marvel movies, and that's great because that's how you're supposed to see it on
Yes,
the big screen.
big
And I
screen.
love it, And I love there's a theater we used to go to that was really like majestic when you go in, and
Is it called Majestic?
yeah. So, but I loved it, and I love the experience. And it sucks they don't. Everything just goes like straight to. I mean, there's movies and they're out there, but
Yeah, not as much.
no,
I
everything
love
goes
going
right
there
to
and getting
streaming.
a big thing of popcorn and a
Yeah,
big
the popcorn
giant
was great.
thing of soda. No, it still is great. We
No,
can still
well, it
do
is,
that.
I know. I didn't like the popcorn though. Like I don't want like wet popcorn. I never like put the butter on it. I just liked it. Boom.
How about so at some point
We talked
they
about this
they
before.
made you put the butter on,
Now they do.
but that sucks
Nobody
because
does
then it's
anything
all
anymore.
it is on the top. Like you can't.
Right.
You want to get
That's
it.
why I didn't do it.
all
I never-
throughout.
Yeah. Then you got like your pump.
I would put it on like a little end. I would
John, I
just
got
have,
news for you too.
What?
It's not butter.
it isn't.
It's not butter.
Well, it's
God
not
knows
good
the
for you
fuck
at
it
all,
is.
right?
No, but the popcorn itself is great. Like that movie popcorn. You know what tastes? It has like if you go. I know
It takes
sounds-
years off your life, but it tastes awesome.
Listen, if you go to Market Basket, they have those like big bags,
And it's just like it.
just like movie popcorn.
Really?
It's awesome.
See, I
love
never go there.
it. Yeah, they have it. It's just big bags, and there's no.
I mean, I should have said this, but my birthday was May 19th. So if any of our fans want to send me one of those things, they can
I want to say this: your response on our softball team's chat. That's the biggest response in the last 5 years for your birthday.
Do you know what all I did
It was
give-
awesome.
I know all I did was give thumbs up to
Yeah,
because
I
I didn't
know.
want to
Well, what are you
single
gonna
anyone
say?
out. I didn't want to single anyone out, so I
know.
just was like that.
But it was you got a lot of. You
No,
got a
I
lot of
think what
response.
happens is when someone does it early, then it's kind of like you get some momentum. So it's like 2 people do it, and then the third, I got to
You
do
got
it.
yeah, it was.
That's good.
We got some people that came.
Well, that's because you don't tell anyone when it's your birthday.
I know. I did yours. You didn't tell anybody.
Oh, you did.
You know how I knew?
Oh.
Because my wife has Instagram and it came up.
I thought I told you.
Johnny Mac's birthday.
No,
Oh, no, you told me, yeah.
But because we were supposed to record on Monday night.
But you told me a couple days before. I'd forget. I forget
stuff. Right.
You know,
you know what's
it was
funny?
like, it was on my calendar.
But you can put it into
my digital calendar.
But you can put it into your address book, right? And then it should, like anyone's birthday, and then it should give you a warning. Yeah, no, I know that.
And I didn't put that in there.
I know that. I'm saying you put a calendar in the kitchen because it's a pretty picture.
Okay.
I'm just
Why don't
telling
you. Just put a pretty picture.
Well, because some of the calendar looks nice.
But then it's got to throw it away.
Again,
it's no good next month.
Let all of the under 40-year-old people that are watching let us know if you have a calendar in your kitchen.
Okay. Calendar. I mean, we used to have one when you opened up the pantry door. It was right there.
Yeah.
And we used to
so you didn't want it?
Huh?
When I was growing up, it was on the kitchen. It was on the wall right there. And my mom, she was an artist, so it was always something artistic.
We had, that is nice, but we had a chalkboard. Like, so it was like football, hockey, football, chair.
You're talking about with your family right now or when you were a kid?
No, at my family. We had like a chalkboard.
When you were growing up?
No, recently.
Oh, no, I know that. Kids. I know that.
Yeah,
I mean, because I've been to your house.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's the chalkboard, so you don't need to keep flipping pages. It's just,
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong. You're all like into it and you write everything in and then you don't update it for like months.
Yeah, I didn't do it. They did it. I was just telling me where I have to go.
Encyclopedias don't exist, right? Right? They don't exist. Magazine subscriptions, we put that down. I think they do exist.
Remember though, that you get one, what do they call it, of the encyclopedia? One right. So there's like 20 volumes. And you get one volume. Like 1 month you get a volume. Then the next month you get another volume.
I don't know if we ever got one.
Yeah, we used to get them.
You did?
When I was a kid, yeah.
They were like encyclopedia salesmen. And right? Wasn't there encyclopedia salesmen?
Yeah, it was a job.
Oh my God.
But I mean, it was cool when they came. It was like color pictures. It was cool, like a brand new book. You open it up and it's like friggin' like dinosaurs or whatever.
Well, you mentioned that you like the Guinness book. So it's kind of like, right? Nice.
You know what's funny though? I wasn't a big reader growing up.
That's all right.
But I like getting the books.
Yeah.
Well, I like to look at the pictures. No, I did read.
All right. So here we go. We teased this in the beginning. What do we think if we fast forward 25, 30 years, what will, I guess, society not do anymore? Right?
Right.
So do you think that there will be these things 30 years? You think there'll be brain chips or something?
They have things now like in your glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Or something.
The Google. Is it Google Glass or something like that?
I don't know. They have the glasses now, but there's going to be something that you're going to just like see virtually in front of you. Like,
so you think 30 years these are gone?
Yeah. There's going to be like a neuro thing.
I would love everyone's feedback there.
Yeah.
Do you think these things are gone?
Those can't be good for you.
No, they've already proven that they change your brain and stuff.
They're no good.
Driving a car.
Nope.
You think that's gone? 30 years.
Did you ever see Smart Pack? I sent you that. I sent you that thing, remember?
I know, but
can we put that up, Smart Pack?
We can if you want. Yeah. Do you think in our lifetime? Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll live another 30 years.
I think that's another thing that's going to change is at some point people are going to live to like 150. Because they're gonna like just manipulate
they're
DNA.
Gonna be in the back of a car,
whatever,
drive them around and stuff like that.
Just give you, like, did you see the exoskeletons they have? Like, even if you can't use your arms, like
I think that's tremendous. I think that's tremendous. Do you think there'll be I think there'll be brick and mortar stores.
Nope.
You don't think at all?
Just for nostalgia. There's no need to. My wife does not go to stores. She buys 3 of things.
Let me give.
She picks what she wants.
Let me ask you this: so you go up to Kennebunk, and there's nice little shops.
Well, that's nice.
Do you think that'll still be around?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, because that's nice. Like you're going.
There's something about getting out.
So like knickknacks or souvenirs
or a paddywhack.
Nickel knickknack.
What is a paddywhack?
I don't know.
Does anyone know what a paddywhack is?
I think you're getting smacked.
But give that dog a bow.
So maybe like for souvenirs or something like that.
Okay.
But I love Amazon. People like my friend hates it because he's, this is a monopoly, blah, 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 but it's really not.
Well, it is.
Well, no, it's not because Walmart does it. too, so it's not a monopoly. But like, I love that I can get anything I want at my fingertips. It's great.
And potentially tomorrow.
Right.
You don't have to wait that long.
Well, it's not that fast anymore. It used to be.
I used to think it was a great deal, but I don't even know if it's a great deal anymore.
No, there's like, if you look for like, they have like the subscribe and saves. Sometimes you get better deals at like Costco or something.
Yeah.
You know,
You're a Costco guy. I need to be a Costco person.
If you have 3 children and you know,
I have 3 children.
Yeah. Well, you're missing the.
That's what you should say in 2 dogs. I have 2 dogs.
And $2. But like, you know, your paper towels, your toilet paper, your anything.
I get
like,
that from Amazon. I know that now.
Yeah.
I know that now. You know what I'm going to do? I'm
Like
going to change my
detergent.
subscribe and save. I'm going to save that.
So cash.
Manually pay for anything? No.
No, I can't. You go to the garden now, you can't use cash.
That probably saves a lot of like. How much does it cost the country to mint things?
Yes, they're gonna mint. When did they start minting anything?
I mean,
They should start minting like change.
I know, but we must make dollar bills and stuff.
Yeah.
On an annual
Well, they're
basis.
going to slow down that, but I'm just saying kids won't do that. They're gonna whatever.
So you think 30 years from now there is
was it
no
you
cash?
that told me when you went into a store? I think no. My friend Richie Raymond, who was a guest of ours,
Yep.
when he was away, he said he went into a store. You could just buy whatever you want and leave. Like whatever card you have, there's a chip in it, or
And
something.
it reads it out.
It reads what you have.
See,
it
that
charges
feels
the card.
like some shit could go wrong.
I know,
there.
but I'm telling you, you can just go buy stuff. You're just gonna walk around,
Okay.
and buy stuff, and you're not gonna have to use cash.
Physical keys. You don't think we'll have physical keys?
No.
I think we. Okay. What about like my shed? I've got a key on my shed.
You mean you can have one if you have a lock?
Yeah.
But I mean, at some
It's a
point,
built-in lock.
you do everything on your phone. You have a smart house, right? So you can do that with.
I
I'm
think
sure
that
there's
can
gonna
be
locks.
exploited.
Well,
Remember,
that's
what was
true.
that movie where all of a sudden something was taking over everything and like Tesla cars were driving and then ramming into each other? Remember that movie?
Was that an M. Night Shyamalan movie?
No. We gotta.
Yeah, they
figure-
all smashed into each
Yeah,
other.
yeah, and like, were they?
I think that was one of those like.
were they on like Martha's
miniseries.
Vineyard or something like that?
I forget. Weren't they all Teslas? They were all like
Yeah,
white
yeah,
Teslas.
yeah. Because it was something that.
Yeah.
So that's the only danger with
Well,
that.
that's the danger with everything like that because if one like EMP and nothing's gonna work.
So cable TV. So we cut the cord, as you know.
right.
I believe I cut it right before you. It was midnight.
But I told you to do it.
But then I convinced you that you had to do it.
I know.
But
I love
the
it.
cable has to be there for the internet, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I feel they'll have Wi-Fi that you don't need it.
Okay.
At some point, right?
Well, I'm saying like how we get cable. I mean, how we get the internet is the cable from like Verizon or Comcast.
Right. But I don't
Did
think
I just shake yours?
yeah.
too?
No, I don't know, but I don't think we're gonna need that either.
What do you mean?
The physical cables, those lines will be gone.
You
Everything will be done like.
By the way,
by
you hinted
satellite.
at it before. That can't be good for your brain. All this stuff
The
going
satellite
around.
stuff?
No, everything. What's coming off of this? The Wi-Fi, everything. That can't be good. Like
No, I don't disagree.
hitting your brain.
That's why you keep it away from each Guardius
Yeah.
when you're driving.
All right, final stretch. Which thing do you actually miss? Do you know what I miss?
I told you. Go ahead, you go.
And the funny thing is, if I had I miss Blockbuster. Like I miss that, like going to a place and seeing the latest and greatest, and I miss that, even though, you know, it's not convenient, but I miss that.
I mean, you know, I told you, like, even though we can still go to the movies, I miss that experience. You know, it's
Which one are you glad is gone?
I don't know. What do we? Let's go.
Encyclopedias.
Pull the list back. Like I said, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Physical maps.
I think there's a place there.
Yeah.
Phone books. Who needs a phone book?
That's
Typewriters.
kind of neat.
You know
though.
what? Typewriters. Yeah, I'm glad they're gone.
You never used it in the first place.
That's right. That's why I don't give a shit. See you later.
Yeah, you actually said no to it 30 years ago.
Exactly.
So why would
So
you
why am I missing
say? Yeah,
out?
why would you say no now?
Uh,
So listen, listeners, all of you, please, please comment, message us. What did we miss? Right?
Yep.
Are there things that you miss that you would like to have back? Are there things that you're glad that you don't?
Right.
The other thing is, I think I hinted at this at the very beginning. So Matt Morimarco is coming in tomorrow. We're going to film the Action Hero bracket. going to take a little bit of editing, but we'll start releasing that on social media, I think.
Yeah, so look out and
I don't think it'll be maybe a YouTube short or something. And then
throw us a comment on that, will you?
Please. And an upcoming guest, he doesn't know it yet, but who do we want on?
So what we want to do is we want to do some like financial planning or estate planning.
Yeah.
We feel like, some of our guests, we like to, help you guys out.
Yeah.
So like maybe
good
it'll
advice.
be good advice for you.
Yep.
And, we want to have our friend Jeremy on who's
again, he has no idea yet.
He doesn't know he's coming on, but
he's coming on.
He's coming. I did talk to him before. He said he'd do it.
Okay.
And I think it'd be cool. It'd have some good information for us. He's a really good guy.
Yeah. So when we get him on, you'll be very happy.
He was my lone draft pick when I filled in for you when you weren't there.
Oh, there you go. That was a great pick.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah,
great addition.
He was a first round pick
on and off the field. Great addition.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
By the way, the season's coming up.
Yes.
We have the first pick.
We do.
We're furiously trying to figure out what that should be.
Right.
We got some guys that had to leave for a season or two.
We got to find the sandbaggers.
They're coming back. So stay tuned. We'll keep you posted, but this could be the return of the Boxford Patriots.
Yeah, we're hoping we have a nice competitive team
exactly.
this year. We should.
Because we've been, down for a few years now.
Yeah.
So it's our turn.
But we get some some good talent coming in.
Absolutely.
We'll be all right.
Absolutely. Once again, like and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to throw us a bone, and by bone, I mean $1 a month. That's the least you'd have to do. Join us on Patreon. We'll share all of that stuff. And we typically will end the show a certain way, but I think Ricky's going to tweak it a little bit today.
Always remember, don't lend it or spend it. And we'll see you.